Welcome to another episode of the Audio Program Council. This is Seabass, this is Barney, and the Omega Condor.
Me.
Bilth will not be joining us today because he is in Arizona right now, partying it up at ASU. So I hear it's a crazy party school, so I hope Bilth is having a really fun time.
And a safe time.
Well, of course, at the same time. But, guys, we're here to talk about our lovable Phase 4 in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Which, by the way, I have found out that Phase 4 is actually over, guys. It ended with Black Panther's Wakanda Forever. We are actually in Phase 5 right now.
Oh.
We're about 4 films into Phase 5 and 1 TV show in to Phase 5 only. So do that with what you may, but Phase 4 is completed. Phase 4 started with, as me and you were talking earlier, Justin, with Black Widow. Started with Black Widow, the film Black Widow. It actually started with the TV show WandaVision, and it ended with Black Panther's Wakanda Forever. So now we are in Phase 5 now, which is being dubbed as Kang Dynasty. And Phase 4 was dubbed as the Multiverse Saga. So, we are... Don't shake your head like that. We're going to give it a chance.
It shouldn't have been given a title.
We're going to give it a chance here. But if you... For just information's sake, Phase 5 is Ant-Man, Quantumania, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, The Marvels, which we haven't seen, Deadpool 3 we haven't seen, Captain America Brave New World, Thunderbolts, and Blade. And for the TV shows for Phase 5, we have only seen Secret Invasion, was the first TV show for Phase 5. So we're very new into Phase 5. Followed by Loki, Season 2, Echo, Season 1, which we haven't gotten, Ironheart, Season 1, Agatha, Coven of Chaos, which hasn't been released yet, Daredevil Born Again, and Season 2 for What If. So that is Season 5. But we will be talking about Phase 4 today, guys, because obviously we went through a MCU, which is now dubbed as the Infinity Saga, which was jump-started our Marvel Cinematic career, starting with Iron Man in 2008, all the way up to Endgame, and obviously that made us fall in love with Kevin Feige and that whole team and that whole universe that is the MCU. But I think we can all agree that Phase 4 has been a little bit messy, to say the least. I don't know.
Misguided, directionless, aimless.
Phase 4 actually start with Far From Home?
No, it did not.
No.
Was that
It did not.
Oh, that was the last movie in the Infinity Saga?
Far From Home is Far From Home is actually the last film in the Infinity Saga, not Endgame. It is Far From Home.
I see.
In film wise, it starts with Black Widow, which is
Phase 4.
which is the origin story, which is really just an origin story for Black Widow. And
Where would you put I Am Groot and the holiday special? Would you put
Phase
those
4.
in Phase 4?
Phase 4 probably. Phase 4, I'd say. At least that's where I would put it.
Right.
I don't know. To be honest with you guys, I feel like we've gotten so many Phase 4 projects, and I still don't know what the beginning, middle, and end of this phase was. I don't understand. I knew they tried to do the multiverse thing, but it never really gave us a clear-cut view of where we're heading into Phase 5. Like, I know we're supposed to... The end goal for Phase 5 is Kang, right? And the Kang Dynasty, or whatever it is you want to call it, that Avengers movie that's going to come out, Secret Wars or whatever. I know we're alluding to that, but there's really been no clear-cut path to that, and I think, is this a product of maybe MCU, Kevin Feige getting a little bit ahead of themselves with all these Disney Plus shows coming out?
Absolutely.
Or what do you guys think has been like the issue with Phase 4 and now subsequently with Phase 5?
Oversaturation.
Absolutely. It's since Phase 4 started, it excuse me. I agree with Barney. Since Phase 4 started, it has been about quantity over quality, and I don't agree with that because it like we were saying in a previous episode, like you were saying, Seabass, is that their writers are really spread thin right now, so they can't really come up with good stories to tell that are compelling, and it has really put a damper on my love for these properties because I feel like I'm getting burned out on this. Like, I don't want to, like, I'm not interested in watching Secret Invasion. I'm not interested in Phase 5. Like, I didn't even watch Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
So would you say that maybe that aura or that cloud of Kevin Feige is starting to really die off right now? Where it's like, Kevin Feige can do no wrong, he's got it all figured out. It's kind of maybe...
I don't even think it's that. I think he has good ideas for the direction, because, like, how do you top the Infinity Saga? So he's going with a really famous story from Marvel Comics, but it's...
Who's been the shining star of Phase 4? The shining star of Phase 1 was Iron Man.
Yep.
I'm actually gonna go out on a whim here and say that the shining star for me for Phase 4 has been Spider-Man. I think, for me, at least, and I think maybe that was done a little bit on purpose. I think that was maybe done a little bit on purpose because there's always those not the rumors, but you always hear that Tom Holland was gonna take over that mantle that Tony Stark,
He did.
But
now who's going to take it over for him?
I know, and I think that was done on purpose, which is why I think Tom Holland or Peter is like the shining star right now in Phase 4. Who I think is going to be next, I have no idea because I don't know
Phase
where
4
it's going.
apparently just ended.
I don't even when Secret Wars comes out, the Avengers movie comes out. I have no idea who's going to be in that film. No clue.
I disagree. I don't think Spider-Man is the shining star of Phase 4. Hold on one second. My cat is being...
It's okay.
By shining star, I mean...
But also off of what Reeves...
which
built
the entire franchise around.
Off of what Reeves is saying, there might not even be one.
No, there is, but it's not as overtly obvious as other phases. So I would argue that Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda Maximoff is the front character, because she's been the most featured.
Don't even get me started on this because it seems like I want to agree with that, and then Multiverse of Madness came out, and look what they did to her character.
I know, it was complete character assassination.
Yeah, and so I want to believe that. I want that to be a thing, but what they did to her in that film is just ridiculous.
I mean, unfortunately, that's the reality we live in, but the thing you have to consider is that she's been established as a Nexus being and someone who is she's literally the most powerful being in this universe, in this multiverse.
She's actually officially established as a mutant. She is a mutant.
Yeah. And once they bring in the X-Men, people have been like, oh, if her and Jean Grey got into a fight,
she is Jean Grey. She is Jean Grey.
She is the Jean Grey of the MCU.
But she's not. But she's not. Jean Grey is going to be
right now.
She
is Jean Grey.
They are going to adapt Dark Phoenix, and Wanda is going to fight Jean Grey as the Dark Phoenix because that's something that happens in the comics. And
I just don't bring Sophie Turner back.
The Scarlet Witch is the only character that is strong enough to solo the Dark Phoenix.
What if they do that in Deadpool 3? That's why they bring the old cast of X-Men back.
Talking about that right now, there have been a crap ton of rumors where they are bringing, and one of the biggest rumors was that they're bringing the old Jean from X-Men 1 to 3. So her character back as that Jean. And honestly, you say what you want about Lost Stand. She was terrifying in that film as the Dark Phoenix. That scene with Charles in the house when she's lifting Charles up and you're staring into those black eyes.
They used the same fucking Lord of the Rings graphics.
She's scary, mate. Like when when Charles turns to her and he's like, "Don't let it control you," and then he just spikes him with all the glass shards. I don't know. Say what you want. That movie is not the best, but she gave me nightmares for a couple of nights. That movie, like her character, gave me nightmares. That was scary, and I have yet to see a Marvel character that's more powerful than her so far in any movie iteration so far.
What?
Yeah, I've yet to see anyone more powerful than Jean Grey. Think of any Marvel movie iteration. Tell me anyone who could stand up to her.
Probably one of the Eternals.
Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch.
That's the only one I can think of that comes even close.
Give me the baby Celestial inside planet Earth.
That's the.
I hate to.
That's
Oh,
the
Justin. Oh, wait. Bonnie. Carol Danvers. Carol Danvers.
Nope.
Oh no! I can't wait. I can't wait for the X-Men. I can't wait. I can't wait to see like Rogue just go.
A backstory.
And
Really
leech
quickly,
her.
guys.
Carol Danvers is
Back-
not powerful enough to stop the Dark Phoenix.
Backstory really quickly. Me and Bonnie could not for the life of us remember Brie Larson's Captain Marvel name, and we were like digging our heads, and I just remembered it right now.
Sorry to Brie Larson.
Sorry, not sorry, Brie. Anyway,
I don't know. She could be also. She is, regardless of what you think about that character or Brie Larson as an actor, whatever.
She's great as an actor. I mean, she has the hardware to prove it.
She is up there. She is up there as one of the more powerful.
she is, but she's
beings.
not. She's not more powerful than Dark Phoenix, and certainly not more powerful than the Scarlet Witch.
Well, I did see as well that Emilia Clarke's character from Secret Invasion was dubbed the most powerful MCU character.
God,
today.
and I know why.
Yeah.
And they had why they put this villain in here. I don't know.
I haven't seen Secret Invasion, so I have no idea.
Because
I have no context.
you robbed the Fantastic Four of, unless you're gonna bring it in with a whole another subset of the same power we've seen, but on a lesser scale. It just doesn't make sense now to make him a fantastic, or make them a Fantastic Four villain now that they've been introduced this way. Emilia Clarke, like her as an actress, I'm not sure what the fuck she was doing in this series. She was a badly written character. I have no witty retort for this. It's just bad.
It's really funny too because I don't know if she was obviously if she had to do that for press junkets and to advertise this show and everything, but she did say that set for Secret Invasions was the best set she's ever worked on so far, and that she had the most fun with that character out of any sort of set she's ever been in. So I don't know what that says. I don't know if they're trying to maybe realize on the back end that the show isn't that good and they're trying to hype it up a little bit more by saying good stuff about it. Kind of what the people were doing about The Flash before The Flash came out. Like, people were calling it the best superhero movie in the past 5 years and this and that. And you even had Tom Cruise who was like, oh, we need this film right now.
I
Blah,
will
blah,
never
blah.
trust that man's superhero opinion again.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's what Emilia Clarke was instructed to do, but I've seen the episodes with her character in it, and I've seen her at the end where she's supposed to be all powerful and whatever she is. It was not well done, and I just they're trying to dub her as the most powerful. I still don't see her being at any sort of level like Condor's saying with Scarlet Witch or Jean Grey. So once we get that Jean Grey, I think, back into the fold, or we even get the X-Men back into the fold, there's going to be a shift in power in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's like the X-Men are here now. That's going to be a force to be reckoned with, 100%. And I hope and I feel like that's even been delayed now for so long. We've been promised the X-Men. Remember when they wanted to tease the X-Men even back in WandaVision? They were teasing X-Men things, and I just feel like they keep on delaying it. I don't know why they've delayed it so long, but at least, obviously, we've gotten confirmation with
It keeps
Wolverine.
you talking about it, but it keeps them
Right.
scot-free to not have to make the thing, but to release little tidbits like, oh, we're searching We're waiting to bring him in. We're waiting for getting all of these shit properties out. So when we bring in the real guns,
Condor, do you also think from what you were saying earlier that Phase 4 is also very messy because also the VFX artists have been working tirelessly, and because they can't shell out quality products now
I
for
would
these
say so
shows.
because there are a lot of these properties where the CGI, the VFX, has been lacking. Honestly, She-Hulk, while they could not keep She-Hulk on model, like she was a different size every episode, and I'm like, where's the consistency?
Yeah, I heard that the CGI for her was rough to do, was rough for that show.
Yeah.
They had a really hard time kind of doing it, but also I read so many articles where they were just obviously what we've been hearing so far, that they were overworked to the brim, where literally actually sleepless nights, where a lot of these people were sleeping at the studio, for to get these to turn in these due dates that they had to turn in by, and it's obvious that it shows in the show, and I don't know, She-Hulk is a show that I just don't even. I love the character. I actually love her in the animated iterations. In Marvel, I think she's great, but it's just not a show that I would ever in a million years rewatch for the MCU. I just wouldn't. I just don't think it's a good show at all. Probably the weakest. I think that and Moon Knight. But Moon Knight makes me a little bit more mad because Moon Knight had potential. So
I would have liked. I think She-Hulk. What they did was fine. I didn't like it as much as I wish I did. Wish I had, but that's because She-Hulk would have been so much better as a courtroom drama.
I 100% agree with that.
They had the perfect setup for a courtroom. Sorry, not courtroom drama, courtroom comedy.
Yeah.
Because she,
like Night Court.
yeah, exactly. I mean, like, well, because they were trying to play the show comedic, and this version of Jennifer Walters and She-Hulk is very comedic, so it could have easily been a courtroom comedy, like a My Cousin Vinny, but with She-Hulk.
I mean, they were trying. They were really trying
Yeah,
to. You
and
could
I would-
tell there were elements to it, but there were their Marvel kicked in, and they were like, "We have to sell a message with this. Little girls are watching. We have to tell them that they can kick ass too. We know."
I would have loved.
know.
I would have loved to see like a comedic, courtroom comedy with her and Charlie Cox, as well.
Yeah, they probably
would've-
didn't have enough money to keep Charlie Cox on for more than one
No,
episode.
100%. But I would have watched the hell out of that.
Well, I
think
mean,
that
they
would have
kind
been
of
way
did
better.
do that for his episode. It was a courtroom comedy because her defendant was so incompetent. It was a comedy of errors on her end, and
Surprise, surprise! That was my favorite episode.
honestly, yeah, that was my
Yeah.
favorite episode too because it showed the best of Jennifer Walters and She-Hulk.
What did you think of his walk of shame?
I thought that was hilarious.
Same.
I thought I would be a fan of the Man Without Fear costume, the yellow one, but
Yeah, it was a little mustardy.
I'm not.
Well, let's talk a little bit about what we liked about Phase 4, because there's always things we liked.
I liked
Bonds.
the one-offs. The Werewolf by Night I thought was fantastic. I thought the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special was whimsical. It was fantastic to get Kevin Bacon in there. I mean, I was thoroughly entertained.
Well, I mean, they just had to do that. Of all the Kevin Bacon references that they
But
have.
that's what I'm saying. Like, you have
Yeah.
all of this creative genius going into these short like
One-shots.
6-minute shows, like I Am Groot,
Mm-hmm.
and then the holiday special and the Werewolf by Night and the What If, I thought were all great, fantastic. Hawkeye, I thought was easily the standout
Show.
live action show for me. Yeah.
Wow.
Aside from the Kingpin shenanigans, yeah, that was.
Not for me. No, I liked Hawkeye. Don't get me wrong, I liked Hawkeye, but it wasn't my standout. For sure, it wasn't.
What was your standout then?
I actually really Loki was my favorite.
Loki? Okay, that's
by,
fair.
for the TV show, Loki was my favorite by far. I was so invested in this time variance authority thing, the TVA. I was so invested. The only thing I didn't like was that I wish we got to see the timekeepers, and I wish that they weren't a fake thing in the show like they are in the comic books. Obviously they're real keepers. I wish we got to see them. I was really ready to do it. I know we got to see them, but they weren't really real, to be honest. They were just kind of a thing that Kang put into place. But I loved the introduction to Kang, and that show was that version of Kang was bloody amazing. I loved that entire scene. I loved the crocodile Loki is still one of my favorite characters ever in Phase 4. I think it took Loki's character to a new level, which was already hard to do because he was already such a dynamic villain and he already had really good outings. Besides maybe Thor Dark World, where they really tried to force this really weird relationship with Thor, like comedic relationship with Thor, back and forth. Besides that film, Loki has had really good iterations of that character. And he's been one of the strong, like, consistent villains in the MCU.
Yeah.
And they just, I don't know, they figured out a way to make his character more dynamic and make his character a little bit more heroic in a way where you feel for him now a little bit, and he's kind of coming to the sense that he also wants to. He's not the big bad villain that he once was, and he realized everything he did in the past was a mistake, sort of thing. So I like the new. I really like. That's why I'm so excited for Loki season 2.
I think you changed my mind. I think Loki is my favorite, but
yeah,
I love Hawkeye too.
I have one issue with Loki, and that it's they took the Loki who was very overtly the villain from the Avengers,
right,
and then they did a speed run of all of his character development that we witnessed.
Well, they made him watch a movie.
Yeah,
it's funny because they did the opposite with Wanda.
Huh?
They did the exact opposite with Wanda. They took her as a good guy and then sped run her into a villain. Kind of like what they did. Yeah,
give her a book. Give the lady a book to read. Give her Jane Austen. She'll make her sad.
But
give the guy a quick movie. He'll get all teary-eyed and turn into a hero.
But get the teary-eyed on. No, but don't you think that the way that they did it for Loki though was at least a little bit more thought out? It wasn't like it was over the course of like a lot of projects.
No, it wasn't. It was literally, we're going to sit him down in a room, and we're going to, like, re-educate him.
I don't know.
And then he's going to come out an anti-hero.
Because if somebody pulled me aside and said, you are not the version of you that deserves to exist, here's how your life should have gone down, and then they show me a movie of my life up until my death, I don't know that would I don't know that I would become the person that is in the movie. That is in that, like, I don't know that I can't say that I would. It's really difficult to say because it's such a fantastical concept being pulled out of your reality and shown a movie of how your life should have gone. So, and with Loki, because he was so disgustingly evil, literally this version of Loki, when the TV show started, not but a fucking, week ago, he stabbed somebody's eye out and, drilled a hole into his face with a
Okay, let's
smile
go back
on
to
his
the
face.
Avengers. Number one, first of all, that guy is tortured. I don't know if you remember how he came out of the portal.
I know.
But he was limping around.
Yeah.
Tortured man.
Yeah, I know he's tortured, but literally 2 days later, he's gouging a man's eye out with a smile on his face.
I'm not going to say he didn't enjoy it a little bit. But I'm saying there was a little bit of a knife to his back.
All right, that's fair enough, but still, but you understand where I'm coming from. Like,
I'm saying he wasn't wholly evil. He was mischievous and he wanted to rule people, but
I mean,
I
he
th-
had
not
very
like
malicious intent in that film.
I think a lot of it was also fear based because he knew that Thanos was the only one that could give him power. And Thanos was the only. Yeah, Thanos basically. Thanos promised him Earth, that he would rule Earth, right? That was Loki's goal, was to rule Earth because he wanted. That's what Thanos was giving him. So I think a lot of that, especially when he comes out of the porthole at the beginning of that movie, a lot of it is fear based too. Because if he doesn't bring Thanos what he needs, it's also game over for Loki as well, and he knows it.
okay. What I saw Loki see and how his character changed so drastically is when we saw the Loki who just came out of the portal and got his ass kicked by the Avengers. He saw the one because he was so scared of Thanos, he bent to his will so easily. When he saw his Loki die, who he was supposed to be, he was so courageous he would have died before he would have been controlled by Thanos again. So
Right.
maybe he liked a little bit of the person he turned into.
But that's the thing. I think with Loki, it's neither he's good nor bad. He's just misunderstood, right? He's a misunderstood character, even from the first Thor movie when he was, when he was the son to Odin, where he's just deeply misunderstood, never quite fit in the right place, wasn't part of Asgard, was part of the Frost Giants and all them. He was actually from there, and it was
Jotunheim.
and it was always at the beginning. It was always living in Thor's shadow, and because of that, he got a little hateful over it. But it was, I don't think he ever turned into the bad guy. He wanted to just he wanted to fit in at first and be as important as Thor. And I think because he always lived in his brother's shadow and all his glory and all that, he people like that tend to kind of get more reclusive and tend to go a different route. And he has very good moments where he saves Thor, for example, in Infinity War, sacrifices his life, and saves him. But then in Endgame, when they're kind of they go back to 2000 to 2012 in the New York City battle. He takes the Tesseract and he leaves. So he's always gonna have those mischievous moments. I think that's his
He's
nature.
opportunistic.
His nature is to be
He's
opportunistic.
self-serving.
100%. His nature is to be opportunistic, self-serving, and mischievous. So I think the Loki will always get a Loki that does that, and I think that Loki season 2 will still have those moments where he reverts back to Loki of old, where he stops and he thinks, wait, how can I do this to better for myself? And I think he'll have those moments, but I think he'll also have those moments where he cares for other people, like that new character. What's her name? Sylvie, like a character like Sylvie, who's
Loki
gonna
too.
be, who's gonna be in that show a lot, and now his new friendship with Owen Wilson's character, I forget his name. Mobius, with his friendship with Mobius, it seems like now they're about to be they're like a tag team detective crew now for the TVA.
Love me a good
Yeah.
buddy comedy.
I think that's what it's gonna be, and I think I don't know. I'm excited to see where Loki's character goes.
And I'm a sucker for the music, the title theme. Oh,
Oh yeah, it's amazing. And you know what? People hated Miss Minutes. I'm excited to see Miss Minutes again. I'm hella excited to see Miss Minutes.
I always enjoy Tara Strong.
Yeah, exactly. How can you not? I think it's just gonna be freaking amazing. And what did you guys think though of WandaVision? This is always very divisive because either people I found
I
really love
enjoyed
it,
a good
people
portion
really
of
don't
it.
like it. Yeah.
I
So,
enjoyed about 90% of that show.
I actually really, really liked that show too. I thought the sitcom was genius. The I Love Lucy sitcom vibe that it had going on.
Well, the
at the
fact
beginning.
that every episode is just paying homage to a different decade of American television, which I think is genius.
great.
and it served the story.
It
Which
served,
made it
yeah,
even
no, it
better.
served the story
Yeah.
because her arc
Yeah.
is like she's grieving,
Right.
So
Yeah. I think they did a very interesting take on her post traumatic stress that she had, that traumatic stress that she had from from the events of Infinity War, where she had to kill Vision in front of Thanos. Her only love, the only
Okay.
thing that she's ever loved.
Except
Do
for
you
her
think
brother.
it warrants the next series though, the Agatha Harkness series?
No.
The House of,
No.
House. I don't either. I don't see where they're
No.
gonna go.
I don't think it's needed, to be honest.
I enjoyed Agatha's character. I
Same.
enjoyed her a lot, but I don't think it warrants her to have her own series. I think she's a good accompaniment. Like there are so
Yeah.
many other characters that are waiting in the wings to bring in.
And I think this is the issue we're starting to fall into as well, where a lot of these characters are getting their own shows, but they're really best at when they're in a supporting role, and they don't have the gravitas, I guess, as a
I mean-
character to sustain their own projects.
Some would have said that about the Guardians of the Galaxy before James Gunn got a hold of the property.
I mean, there's a lot of variables, you know. It depends on like good directing, good writing, obviously good actors. Like Catherine Hahn is one of the best actors like out there. She's a great actor. She's a great Agatha. But once again, it comes down to the product quality, the director, the writer. Like a lot of these characters just can't sustain their own shows, and I think that's becoming an issue. And I hope, you know, Covenant of Chaos doesn't fall under that umbrella, but. You know,
That's what it is. Covenant of Chaos.
yeah, Covenant of Chaos. If it, you know, it doesn't, you know, I see how these projects are going. I wouldn't be surprised if it fails as well, which is sad to think about because I used to have the MCU at such a high pedestal for quality and stuff they would do. We always used to be like, when we shit on the DCU movies and we shit on the DCEU, it was always like, oh yeah, but Marvel's gonna come up with something with a banger, so we're gonna be all right. I don't feel like that. Like you were saying earlier, Condor, I don't feel like that anymore with Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sad. I think it really is sad because this is a franchise that I have been so invested in since I was 13 years old. Like or 12, 13 years old.
You're
and
so young.
Yeah, and I've
He was so young.
Jesus Christ. All right.
When I was
I was
a
an
young
appropriate
boy.
age for watching these movies, is what I'm saying.
He was
And
impressionable.
I
is
was
what he's also
impressionable.
saying.
Yeah. No, these movies like this this kind of fantasy. I was really into this, and now I'm like, am I just becoming more jaded as I get older, or is this just becoming?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, but like, is it more so that, or is it also the fact that these properties and these projects they're putting out are unfortunately just becoming worse and worse? It's becoming kind of schlock. It's what Barney was. Excuse me. It's what Barney was saying.
Dang.
Bless you.
What was that?
It was my. I burped. Anyway, what Barney's saying, the market is becoming oversaturated, and it's becoming a problem because it's hindering the enjoyment for a lot of
Someone
people.
see if we can get a Tums deal. That'd be perfect. Save that.
Um,
Save that.
Tums,
Editor's note.
If you watch our podcast, we would love to be sponsored. Okay.
We have a lot of heartburn.
We have someone that would actually need it right here.
I
So,
don't have
so
heartburn. I'm drinking a soda.
Are you an IBS bitch?
No.
Hey, they're not bitches. Everybody has a struggle.
Hey man, I don't mean that in a bad way. Like I'm an IBS bay.
Wait,
you know,
why am I a
Someone
bitch
see
and
if we
you're
can
a
get an
bae?
IBS sponsorship.
I'm an IBS bitch too. I'll say it too. Wait, I have the. Oh no, this is a different name. I do have a bracelet though.
He
or
stole
Lauren-
a Swifty bracelet.
No. So Lauren has a bracelet that says IBS bitch on it, which is funny. I think it's funny. This one says bye bitch, which I think is also kind of good. Anyways,
Moving on.
moving on.
Let's talk about Moon Knight.
So
Rather
much.
not.
I think about that show. I just think about potentiality. Because I was actually, before that show came out, I was excited to watch that show.
Same.
I was excited for it. I was very excited for it. And the first episode was actually very promising. Very promising. I liked the first episode. I liked where it was going. And then it just started to get so... What's the word? Barnes, help me out. What's the word?
I'm upset with myself of how much free marketing I gave that show. Like, I was turning people onto it that I thought was going to be the greatest thing. I have a very deep love for Moon Knight for the comics. I think he is quirky. I think he is the better Daredevil. Daredevil can be a lot sometimes, and he can break the fourth wall. Moon Knight is that toned down just a little bit.
Listen, I love me some Poe Dameron. I love me some Oscar Isaac. I love me some Oscar Isaac. But I just don't think he played that character well. I just don't think it was good. And I think it felt very disconnected from the material, and it felt like he
It
didn't
felt forced.
It felt super forced. Like, it felt like he was trying to copy Split a lot. He was trying to maybe pull references from James McAvoy's performance in Split on how to do multiple personality disorder, and it just, like Bonnie put it perfectly. Like, it felt super forced. It felt disconnected. It felt like he didn't know the material. Almost like he did no research on who Moon Knight is or what Moon Knight is as a character. Yeah. You could immediately pick that up watching the show, and it just completely disconnected me from the show. I could not keep watching it because I didn't believe it. I didn't believe in it. It just
Right.
That's my and it made me, and it frustrated me.
One of my issues was I couldn't take him seriously with the accent when he was Steven.
Yeah.
That's what I mean, forced.
Yeah,
Like, it just,
yeah.
It
when
was
you're trying
rough.
to put-
It was
when
rough
you're
on all accounts.
trying to put on a voice.
But whenever he was Mark, it felt... It seemed one note. I'm like, oh, that's Oscar Isaac. That's Poe Dameron.
That's Poe Dameron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very one note, which I know he has much more range than that. And I know it really seemed like he tried having a little bit of range for this show, but he was just generic action hero man whenever he wasn't meek little Steven.
Yeah, and the CGI for the suit, I just couldn't get behind it.
I didn't like it either.
Yeah,
I thought, like, when the suit was a practical suit, I thought it looked great. I think
God, when are these people gonna understand that the practical suits look so much better?
the problem is the actors, I don't think, want to wear them anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I think that is the issue inherently, is that they don't want to be in a costume in the makeup and department room for like 6 hours a day putting that on.
If I see another CGI mask flip off of a person's face, just disappear, nanotechnology, and I'm like, why does everybody have nanotechnology all of a sudden?
We'd think we'd learn from the Green Lantern.
Why does Thor have nanotechnology in his helmet that makes it disappear? Like it does the same effect, and I'm like, why are they recycling that effect for Thor's helmet? Just let him wear a freaking helmet. God damn.
It's
Didn't
just
they do
such
that in
an
the
easy
first one?
way.
What?
Didn't he have an actual helmet in the
He
first
had
one?
an actual helmet in the first one.
Yeah.
He wore it for one scene, took it off in front of Odin, and then never put it back on again. And I am so upset because that helmet looked awesome.
It did. They never used. What a waste! It was a wasted opportunity for that helmet, for sure, 100%. But like that, I think that's just the easy way of costume on and off for superheroes. It's like, oh yeah, let's just get them on, like, and then it's a little bit annoying. I will say, and the CGI costumes just never look anywhere near as good.
I mean, look at the Flash. That costume looked like shit. It looked like dog shit.
Awful. Awful. Yeah. I agree. That's why I'm really happy that with Blue Beetle, DC's Blue Beetle, I'm so glad they made that costume practical because it looks fantastic.
That suit looks... They took a
Yeah.
page out of Deadpool's book, and it works. It works.
Tell me... you know what? I'm gonna get flagged for this. I'm gonna get flamed for this. I'm not the biggest fan of Deadpool, but that costume is amazing. The costume is amazing.
The Deadpool
The
costume...
new one?
The Deadpool costume,
Just
yeah,
in
is
general.
amazing.
The new one.
All of
No,
them
just
are
in
great.
general, I think all of them. I like that they went. I actually like that they went lighter, more comic book accurate for the costume instead of like that darker maroon red that he wears. I like the new one. I like the new iteration of it.
I like it all. I like it.
I like it all though. Yeah, the costumes are amazing. I think.
What's
the
your
only-
What's your issue with the new Deadpool suit?
No.
I
Oh,
like
yeah.
the old one. I like the Fox one better. The Deadpool 1 and 2 one.
You like the darker version of it?
I
The
do.
grittier, the
That's
grittier
fair.
version.
I
I mean, it's
do.
fair to like something more than the other, but I don't think that makes the new costume bad by any means. It's still
not saying bad. I just don't like it.
I think
Just
you
like
might.
just like I don't like the yellow Daredevil. I like the Netflix Daredevil costume better.
I think if you, when you watch the movie, maybe it'll in a better light. Maybe you'll be able to like the
I
costume
will
a little bit more. But right now we're
maintain
just
an
going
open
off of
mind.
set photos. We're just going off of set photos right now.
Yeah,
So,
that's all we got. That's all we got for forever now.
man, I really hope that Hugh Jackman puts on that Wolverine mask, please.
It's gonna be a CGI mask, and you know
No,
what?
please.
It is because he's gonna make him do it because he had to do the Green Lantern one, and it's gonna be a joke. I know it is.
Please. They already had it made. It's in one of the other films. It's there.
Oh,
They
it's in the
have it.
Wolverine.
Yeah, and it looks perfect. Tell me it doesn't look perfect.
It does.
No,
The-
it looks like it's shiny.
No, it looks amazing. I like
the
it.
thing inside the box.
Yes,
the
that
very
looks
end of the
so
movie?
good.
Yeah, his
yeah.
cowl.
Yeah, that looks amazing. You don't like
Hold on.
it?
It looks like a helmet.
It looked like a toy.
Wait, you don't like it either, Kondo? I love
No,
it.
I thought it was great.
Oh, yeah, I think it's great, and they haven't just used that. Just use it. You guys made it, and it looks so well. There's no reason to go into post and muck it all up and ruin it. There is no reason to CGI that mask on him. Please don't. It's just, especially because that yellow costume that he's wearing right now is so iconic. Like, we all instantly know who that is. We've all watched the animated shows. We've all read the comics. Like the yellow Wolverine is with the tails here. Is
Yeah,
one
that
of the most.
shit. It looks like a toy. What are you talking about? It's all
No.
shiny and shit.
That's crazy that you think that,
What the fuck are you talking about?
dude. I think I'm gonna pull a picture right now.
It
of it. I think
looks like he just
fantastic.
pulled out a box of Toys R Us stuff.
What are you crazy? Hold on.
He opens it and it's a box of. It's like a shiny mask. I would have been more convinced if it was like leather or something. But that shit is metal.
I think it looks amazing. I don't know what you're talking about, but that is one of the most accurate cowls direct from comic to film that I've ever seen.
Yeah, because he's not wearing it.
That's insanity to me. I think that cowl looks amazing.
You
in my
put that
opinion.
on him and that's gonna look ridiculous.
No, you put that on him and he's gonna look like a badass. I don't know what.
That
yeah.
metal thing.
What do you mean metal thing? It doesn't. You can't even.
It
tell
looks
it's-
shiny.
Okay, that's just. You can tell that that's the lighting coming down on it. That's literally lighting coming down on it. That helmet looks amazing. That helmet is so well
It has
made.
to.
Stop it.
I mean, like, it's
Stop
not
this.
made of cloth.
All right. Well,
You're being ridiculous. Stop this.
you're being ridiculous.
That's the same approach they took with the Captain America helmet cowl.
no, that is leather.
Well, it's a helmet with.
But the outside is leather.
Yeah, but
That
leather
looks-
has a shine to it still.
All right,
I will
not like
say,
this.
Captain
This has a
America's-
sheen, should I say?
sheen.
Sheen.
All right. Well, moving on from the cowl talk of,
The
of-
cow. Wait, just to end it really quickly. I love it. I think if they don't CGI it and they maybe put something similar on his face for that, and you better believe me, if they do, they're gonna save that for a really, really good moment in the film. That's not gonna be something I think that he wears throughout the whole film.
either
because
that. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm just saying because we're so used to seeing his Wolverine without a mask. So I'm assuming like a good chunk of portion of the film is gonna be him without the mask, and when he puts that thing on, it's gonna be like a good moment, it's gonna be one of those climatic moments. I think.
It's either gonna be that or he's gonna be introduced wearing it, and then it's gonna come off for the rest of the movie.
My God, and if they play the theme, oh, I'm gonna lose. If they play the animated theme, I'm going to lose my mind when he puts that thing on. I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm telling you right now. I really hope. I love the new X-Men theme. I love the X-Men theme from the films. But when he puts that on and they do the animated version of that theme, whew, someone's pants might fly off, and they might be mine. So,
Steer clear of the splash zone.
Just steer clear. My pants could wind up on your face.
I'll bring a poncho.
Let's talk about the most hyped movie of Phase 4 that came out, and now that it has settled for a while, what we actually think of No Way Home. Because I have never seen a film so hyped up before. That it was so hyped that they didn't even release a trailer. They released the first trailer 6 months before the movie came out. That's how long they dragged that promotion out. And the rumors started. Toby, is he going to be in the film? Is Andrew Garfield going to be in the film? Oh, are we going to get Alfred Molina back as Dr. Octopus? Are we going to get Willem Dafoe back as Green Goblin? Like, all these rumors that came about. Like, I remember film Twitter was a frenzy during this time.
What did you say? What?
Film Twitter. Film X. Film X. Film X. I'm not going to call it that. I am not going to call it that. Film Twitter is...
Film X sounds like a porno.
Yeah, it feels like I'm promoting a porno website right now. Film X. No, Film Twitter was a frenzy. Like, every day I saw tweets about people... either requesting for the trailer, talking about when the trailer was going to come out, or just cycling rumors about if Toby, if Andrew, if all these people were going to be in it. So, like, now that the dust has settled a little bit, obviously, what did we think of No Way Home? Let's start with you, Condor. I want to hear your opinion. I feel like you have an opinion.
I liked No Way Home. I liked it. I mean...
Who didn't?
Yeah.
Michael didn't. Bill didn't. He's not here, though.
He is not here, but...
Yeah.
No Way Home, I'll say it again, the same thing I said in my Spider-Man rankings when we did that episode of the podcast. I will say that I think it relies too heavily on the previous media to hoist itself up. That's the reason it was so hyped, because of the nostalgia factor, not because it was going to be an exciting new original story coming from this Spider-Man. It's because old Spider-Man were coming back to the big screen. And while I enjoyed that aspect of the film, I don't think that it automatically makes it a masterpiece.
I don't know if I totally agree with you, only because of the fact that the first hour and a half of the film is a Tom Holland film, and they're not even, those characters, Toby or Andrew, don't even show up until arguably the third act of the film.
That's true, but because this movie was hyped up because of the returning actors. And while the first hour of this movie may be a Tom Holland film, maybe this version of Spider-Man, that might be his movie, where you can't say that you weren't just waiting on the edge, just like, when are Toby and Andrew going to get here? When are Toby and Andrew going to get here?
Of course I was thinking that.
Exactly.
Who wasn't? Who wasn't, though?
So partially,
Doc Ock.
so it's safe to say part of your enjoyment of that movie relied heavily on the nostalgia of these other characters coming in from the previous films. And I don't think that should be what makes a movie good. The movie was good. It was well written. The character dynamic was really good. The direction was really good. The web swinging, like all the action scenes, were comprehensive. Like it was comprehensible. I understood what was going on. I was never lost with what was happening in a scene. Technically speaking, it is a good film. The CGI is not awful. I do not like that Sandman was all CGI all the time, and it kind of actually really bums me out. And Thomas Hayden Church even
there's only one reason for that, though. They couldn't bring him.
The Lizard was CGI too, all the time.
It's because they couldn't bring Rhys Evans in either. They couldn't bring Rhys Ifans in either.
Thomas Hayden Church did voiceover for.
Yeah, but yeah,
No Way
I'm
Home.
saying that
So did-
he didn't come and film though.
But
He
both of
didn't.
them did.
Well, he did. He literally. I think he said in an interview he only filmed like one new scene. The rest was all recycled.
It's also because I think them now look
he's-
too old to play their characters.
But Alfred
I
Molina
think.
is like. 80,
Alfred Molina looked exactly the same, so I
He didn't.
Of
He
course,
looked
they brought him
old and-
back.
He looked older
No.
and puffier.
He has the secrets of youth.
I thought Alfred Molina looked almost exactly like
and
his
also,
Spider-Man 2.
also Willem Dafoe looks way older now.
Of course, but he's amazing, so it doesn't. I don't even care about that. He was so good in that. Tell me, what do you mean? Tell me he wasn't amazing
I'm
in
not
his
saying
scenes.
okay. This wasn't because he wasn't amazing. This is because you've proven my point, but you've chosen to ignore the point that I'm making.
All right,
No,
insanity is ageless.
I know I'm not like, ignoring it or anything like that, but I just don't think that in this particular case for this particular movie, the nostalgia served the story. So I understand when the nostalgia doesn't serve the story, but for this one, it served the story. It had to be a part of the story. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I suppose so. I just wish that I wish this movie could stand on its own without, because it's like think of it for new viewers of Spider-Man.
It could.
For newer viewers of Spider-Man who didn't like, if I'm a 13-year-old and I didn't watch the old Spider-Man movies from the 2000s and 2010s, if I didn't watch those movies and I only have seen Tom Holland's iteration of Spider-Man, I wouldn't understand the nostalgia factor. So I'm trying to think of this with fresh eyes. Does this movie stand on its own with a fresh pair of eyes on it? And the answer is no.
Yes.
It becomes emotional. It's because it's manipulating emotions.
Yeah.
By it is an inherent.
A lot of it is callback.
Yeah, and so that's for like, it doesn't detract from my enjoyment of the film because I have seen those other movies, but for someone who hasn't, I believe that element of the film will detract from their enjoyment of it.
I will say that I personally think that it does stand alone as a film because I think there's enough kind of Spider-Man in there to make you sort of understand what's going on, and they do a pretty good job at explaining as well who these people are that they're bringing back into the fold.
Yeah, but
If I'm not
the
mistaken.
emotional weight of like
It's not there obviously for the new people, but they create maybe new emotions to these characters. Maybe this is their first time seeing Alfred Molina's Doc Ock. It's like seeing a new character, and they develop an emotion for it by the time, hopefully, the end of the film, the credits roll. So
another thing that makes me sad about that, though, is that also that kind of proves now that we're never going to have original versions of these characters in this universe for Spider-Man.
that is correct.
Because
They
these
chose-
are such iconic Spider-Man villains, and now we don't really have access to them because Oscorp doesn't exist, Dr. Octavius doesn't exist in this universe, Sandman doesn't exist in this universe, like Rhino doesn't exist in this universe.
Well, they do,
Oscorp
but just
can-
different variants of those characters.
Yeah, Oscorp can easily exist. They're
Yeah.
big companies
yeah,
that
yeah.
swallow big
Let's-
companies all the time.
I think it's all
retcon
these
the MCU
characters.
so Oscorp just appears out of thin air.
I think it's
it can always be like a tiny little company that's always been trying to
Well,
get big and then eats.
there has to be an Oscorp in the Tom Holland verse because there is no Spider-Man without Oscorp. There has to be a variant of these characters in his universe.
But that's the
Maybe
thing.
that's what we'll see.
Because we haven't seen Oscorp because Oscorp like that's the company that made the spiders that turned Peter Super. That's a pretty consistent story beat that's in all of the iterations of Spider-Man. but because I read like theories years ago that people theorized that Stark Industries were the ones who developed the spiders that bit Peter.
There's
Instead.
actually been adaptations of that too, of like a Stark lab having the mutated spiders. But wait, in Spider-Man 1, the spider that he gets bit by when he's in the lab with all the students, is that
That's Oscorp. That's Oscorp.
Oscorp.
Is that an Oscorp lab?
Yeah, they took a field trip to Oscorp.
It
Both
wasn't
Amazing
it wasn't a
Spider-Man
university.
and Spider-Man.
No, I know Amazing Spider-Man for sure, but it wasn't a university. It was Oscorp.
Oscorp.
It was Oscorp.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Because it seems weird then that when Willem Dafoe drops off Harry at this field trip, he doesn't mention, "Oh, look, you're about to go into my company. This
What?
is my lab."
Why would you say?
You know?
like.
I mean, I
Thank
don't know.
you, Captain Obvious. Like, no, I don't.
No, but you would think that he would say something like, "Oh yeah, you're about to see, you're about to see the lab where blah blah blah." I don't know.
That would be
kinda just
that's
what I'm thinking.
that's superfluous dialogue.
I'm not talking about the dialogue itself. I'm just talking about more of like, oh, you would think that as a character, Norman Osborn would be like, this is my lab.
Well,
Isn't that why he says I'm something of a scientist line myself?
Yeah.
That's why he says that line. That I'm something of a scientist myself. Because this is my lab. Wink, wink.
Ah!
I guess it makes sense then. I mean,
You're
I did
You're being
assume.
cheeky, Norman.
I mean, I did assume it was Oscorp, but I wanted to make sure it was confirmed that that was Oscorp, where they went, where he gets bit by one of those radioactive spiders.
Yep.
Is Oscorp. Where do we think his story's gonna go in 4 when 4 eventually comes out? Where does Peter Parker go now? Now that everyone has forgotten him.
Isn't freshman year coming out before 4?
Well,
Yeah.
no. Now that yes, but that's good. That's a prequel, or is it? It's an in-between story.
It's a prequel, and it's also not exactly Tom Holland's universe, as I understand it.
Yes. So I'm talking about Tom Holland's Spider-Man 4 when that eventually comes out. Where does he go? Where does this character go now that everyone has forgotten who he is?
They
Like, what
adapt the alien suit saga. The black suit Spider-Man. That's where
like a black suited. You think?
they're gonna go back to black suit Spider-Man because they've already established that
What?
the symbiote has entered into that universe and did not get
Because of Venom.
Yeah, because of Venom, and because Venom and Tom Hardy were in that universe, and then a piece of the symbiote didn't leave. It didn't go back for whatever reason.
So you think that version of Venom joins the MCU? Tom Hardy's version of Venom joins it because with
No,
that it's also very
not-
strange because that version of Venom now is also he's an anti-hero. Kind of.
But that no, but that's not where I'm going with this. Tom Hardy is not going to be in the MCU. He's going to continue being a Sony property that does not enter the MCU. In fact, it's been confirmed that Morbius and that version of Venom take place in Andrew Garfield's timeline.
God, thank God. I don't need Morbius coming into the MCU.
So, but that little piece of the symbiote is in the MCU, and it will find its way to either Peter or it'll find its way to Deadpool, which will be a really good callback to the comics because in the comics, the symbiote actually attached to Deadpool first.
Yeah.
Which is
yeah.
why it was insane.
And Magpie.
And which is why it was insane and sadistic by the time it got to Peter, and that's what corrupted Peter.
So I guess surprise Tom Holland Spider-Man cameo in Deadpool 3 maybe?
No.
Would that be like a very very out there type of take maybe?
Ice cold.
I mean, it is
yeah.
out there, but not completely outside the realm of possibility, considering the rapport that Spider-Man and Deadpool have in the comics. And it would be an interesting duo to see on screen together because they've done it in animated shows before. They've done it in the comics a million times.
The only reason I agree with you and think that that's not going to happen is because I think this Deadpool movie is served to bring the
Wolvie
X-Men.
and Deadpool
yeah.
romantic comedy.
But it's also to serve the bigger purpose, right? Is to bring the X-Men back into the fold and to bring the X-Men into the MCU. Not just back into the fold, but into like the MCU now, the MCU timeline. That's why there was those rumors about having. I wonder what they're gonna do with this when they bring that Jean back. Is this gonna be a variant of Jean that's played by that same actor? I don't know what her name is. It's a very strange Eastern European name, and I can't think of her name right now. But
The original Gene.
the original Jean.
I kind of think that they could play it as a remember in Days of Future Past when Logan resets everything and they go back to the days of the Last Stand. Like,
and he sees Jean and all of them.
And everyone's alive. Cyclops is alive.
Yeah.
I think they could. I think that version of the X-Men that gets reset at the end of Days of Future Past is in the MCU. I think that's.
I could see that happening. I think that would be I don't know. I think initially with you saying that, I think that's a pretty good shot of that happening.
It's a large leap in logic, and I understand there's a lot of speculation behind a claim like that. But that's the best answer I can come up with mutants being in the MCU.
Because you don't think that they'll bring back the peeps from First Class then, like the James McAvoy, Charles Xavier,
they're all done with
Yeah.
X-Men. After Dark Phoenix, I would not be surprised if they want nothing to do with any comic book movie ever again.
Well, Barney over here has yet to see Dark Phoenix. I've tried to get him to.
that movie!
I've tried to get him to watch that movie for like 2 years now, and he will not watch it.
Train wreck. I see it coming a mile away. I don't need to stand in front
I don't blame you.
Listen to me. We went through the whole X-Men franchise, and we got to that film, and then he refused to watch the last film. I get it. I get you. It's a train wreck, but we went through that entire journey, and you didn't want to finish it off. And to this day, it still bothers me.
Sometimes you just gotta learn when to walk away.
Yeah, but it's sad because it's like, for me, it's any excuse to watch his version of Magneto. What's that actor called?
Michael Fassbender.
Any excuse to watch Michael Fassbender's version of Magneto, I think, is absolutely brilliant.
I'm glad he got the paycheck. I don't need to watch. I don't need to watch you masturbate.
He has arguably one of my favorite Magneto scenes in any Magneto movie, with him in it. In the train scene. Remember when they're just like running towards him and he's just like, and he just crushes them all, and then he just lifts the train car. Yeah, in Dark Phoenix, when they're in the train.
Because that movie is so bad, my brain wiped it from my memory. My brain didn't even bother keeping the brain cells holding those memories alive.
They're like, be free.
And
It's just
every part of my body screams to my brain not to watch that movie again because those brain cells will also die.
Yeah, you can tease me all you want. You can keep that fucking movie.
It's just to
I
me.
I watched the New Mutants.
Oh, that was bad.
I
That was
know how
bad.
to torture myself just fine.
I did
That
not
was
watch
bad.
the New Mutants.
That was bad.
It is real bad.
It's also really sad that our lovely Arya Stark and Sansa Stark are a part of both those films, and they're absolute train wrecks. Sophie Turner, Maisie
what?
Williams.
Oh, she was. Dark
Maisie
Phoenix.
Williams is in it. Yeah, Sansa is Jean, bro. Sansa.
I know.
Sophie Turner is Jean.
Good.
I will say, Dark Phoenix was. No, you know what? Apocalypse was also really bad, but it was a little better than Dark Phoenix.
Apocalypse is all I could stand.
I would rather watch Apocalypse than Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, I would too, I think. I definitely
least-
would.
Does Dark Phoenix have Quicksilver?
He's in the first 20 minutes.
Yes.
And then
he's
he
in the first 20
and then he
minutes
gets
of the film.
written out of the movie.
Yeah.
Yes and nah. I would not like that movie at all.
And arguably the best character in that film, which is Jennifer Lawrence's
Mystique written out of the
Mystique.
movie.
not just written out of the movie.
Just
Written out of the
destroyed.
franchise, but also
Yeah.
she was not good in that movie. She was
No, not that movie, but she was amazing in Days of Future Past.
Oh yeah. We're not
Yeah.
talking. We're not
That's when
talking
she still
about.
cared.
We're not
But I'm
talking
talk-
about good X-Men movies right now.
No, but I'm talking about a good character as a whole. Her portrayal of Mystique, I thought was really good.
Yeah, except for when they commit character assassination. She's like mutant and proud at the end of First
Yeah.
Class, and then by the time they get to Apocalypse, she's still hiding in her human form. in her
Well, it's because
generic.
you have to see Jennifer Lawrence's face for the movie to sell. Duh.
Yeah, but we see her face in the blue makeup. It's not like her face is covered. It's just her being
She
blue.
did not want to wear the blue makeup.
Yeah, and
E- Either way, going back to the original point, I think Deadpool is going to serve as the reintroduction of X-Men back into the MCU
I
timeline.
can see that.
And that's probably I am the most excited now for this Deadpool film because of that. And okay, so going back then to No Way Home, Reeves, Condor, this is the same argument you're making then, because this is pulling nostalgia again. So is Deadpool 3 not going to be able to be a standalone film by your logic?
it depends on it. So that's the thing. It depends on whether or not these characters are going to be original versions of themselves or versions of themselves from the past movies. Because if they're versions from themselves from the past movies, then no, it can't stand on its own as a film in terms of, because to a pair of fresh eyes, it'll be confusing. It'll be like, I don't know any of these characters. I know Deadpool because you're going to assume someone who's seeing Deadpool 3 has watched 1 and 2. But if they haven't seen, but also they're going to probably have watched Logan as well, because if they've seen Deadpool 1 and 2, then they're old enough to watch Logan as well. And then they're going to be confused about, how is Logan back? How is this version of Logan back? And that kind of brings into question where it takes place on the time. Or is Logan just the end of it all? Like, Logan was made in a certain time, but it's set so far in the future that it doesn't even matter.
We'll get there eventually.
Yeah. But so yes, I think it really wholly depends on whether or not these are new iterations of these characters, or if these are characters who have had the same exact experiences from the previous films.
What do we think of this new team up that's happening in Phase 4 that starts in Black Widow? This Thunderbolt team that they've teased for. They teased it in Black Widow. They teased it in Falcon Winter Soldier, the TV show, and now they teased it in Hawkeye at the end of Hawkeye, right? Where do we think they're going with this, and what do we think of this sort of team? Because I think it consists of, who is it? It's Yelena Belova, it's Bucky, right?
Yep.
It's the Red Dawn, is that his name?
Red Guardian?
Red
The
Guardian.
Red Guardian. The Red
Red
Guardian.
Dawn.
Abomination.
Sorry, Red Dawn. It's Abomination. Who else is it?
Abomination's not in it.
Yeah, he's
Is it not?
It's gonna be the Red Hulk.
What?
Abomination's
Are you sure?
not it. It's gonna be Ghost. It's gonna be Taskmaster. It's gonna be Red Guardian. It's gonna be Bucky. It's gonna be the U.S. agent and
Oh yeah, Walker.
the
US Agent
Black
Walker.
Widow.
No, not. Oh, I mean Yelena Belova. You mean? Yeah.
Black
is she?
Widow.
She's not Black Widow though.
The
technically.
White
is.
Widow.
Oh, is that? But also,
she is a Black
Valentina?
Widow.
The new Black Widow.
Is Valentina Fontaine count in that, or is she just the organizer of it?
Val is the organizer. She's Nick
like
Fury.
the organizer, right? She. What did we say she was? The DC.
She's Nick
version of-
Fury.
She's the DC version of Amanda Waller.
Oh, Amanda Waller, but
Yeah, Amanda Waller.
Amanda Waller is DC, so you mean she's the Marvel version of Amanda
She's
Waller.
the Marvel. Sorry, she's the Marvel version of Amanda Waller.
Yeah.
Valentina Val. Is there, I haven't heard anything about, like, when is that gonna be fit into the Phase 5? Like, when are we gonna,
Brave New World.
if we're so focused with Kang and Kang Dynasty, when is there gonna...
Captain America.
In Brave New World?
It's when Thunderbolt Ross gets introduced as, hopefully, the Red Hulk.
Well, that makes also kind of sense that they might bring it in, because as we all know, if you've read the Marvel comics, if you know Secret Wars is like a massive just get togethering of like every universe of every fucking superhero that's out there.
So Captain America might serve as another pseudo Avenger film where they bring in like the Dark Avengers.
Jeez.
It might be also, depending on when it comes out, the kind of like the start or inception of Armor Wars.
I just feel like too many Marvel team-ups are happening, and they cannot control it. I don't know.
It's starting to look like the comic book landscape.
And 100%, it's like, but what the comic books does so well is that there's so much time to flush out all these storylines. With these films and TV shows, they have to meet deadlines. Like, there has to be like a Marvel project that releases every year, you know? So
Yeah.
it's like it's. I feel like they're shooting themselves in the foot, and they're just
They're
it's too
releasing
many.
like 3 Marvel projects a year now, 3 or 4.
It's like that board where you link the suspects with the red string. It's just starting to be like a whole web of way too many things that they can't connect to and
Just
can't come back from sort of thing. I don't know.
it's starting to become like where the superheroes is gonna need its own subgenre. Like we're not gonna get everybody, but we'll get these certain dedicated action hero fans, not the rom-com hero fans, but definitely the action ones.
And you know what the funniest part is? I feel like they're trying to do that with the shows, and it's not working out. Like with the She-Hulks and the Miss Marvel shows
That's
and
because
all
they
that.
don't go far enough into the one genre, but in fear of that they'll lose the superhero people, or they don't trust to have fresh ideas going into these projects. They want to pull from everything that's already been done. And to a certain extent, that's admirable, and it's going to get you a lot of praise from dedicated fans. It's also going to get you ire from fans as well.
And then we're also supposed to get that character from the Eternals that Harry Styles plays. He's
Oh,
the son,
fucking
the son,
Eros?
the son.
Or
He's the son of Thanos,
No,
isn't he? Right?
brother of Thanos.
Brother of Thanos. Sorry, he's the brother of Thanos. We're supposed to get him in some sort of iteration soon. I don't know when they're gonna include him back into the fold.
I don't even know
just-
why they made Eternals. They have not done shit with the Eternals.
Okay,
I
this is what I was,
hate
this
that
was-
movie.
Okay, and this was gonna be my hot take. I actually didn't dislike that movie as much as people did. I did not dislike it.
It's so dumb.
So what I liked about it was tonally, obviously, it was very different from any other Marvel film we've seen in so far. Tonally very different. It was definitely a lot more. It was a very very serious Marvel film, right?
It was
And
also
Marvel was-
convoluted as hell.
Yeah,
yes, it was. It
if
was.
they've
It was.
been here this entire time, why have there been
Oh.
needs for?
The only thing I hate about the film is the excuse that they give for not interfering in the events of Endgame and Infinity War and all that.
So why not? Why interfere now?
Yeah, because they can only interfere with those aliens that they're meant to. What are they called?
Yeah.
What do they say they're called? Let me look it up really quick.
But I bet you'll find the way to interfere.
CGI diarrhea
Because-
monsters.
Yeah.
Exactly, but CGI diarrhea monsters, quote unquote, the deviants, because the deviants were not involved in Endgame, the deviants were not involved in Infinity War, the Eternals were not allowed to interfere then in those human affairs, which I think is absolutely ridiculous in my
Hogwash.
opinion. Ridiculous in my opinion. How are you gonna let Thanos snap half the world to oblivion and think to yourself, "Oh, it's okay. We don't have to involve ourselves in this."
And also,
When-
did the Eternals were they even affected by the snap, or because they're
No, they can't.
because
They can't be affected.
They're inorganic,
They're
so they're
not. They're inorganic. They're
They're
not
inorganic.
alive.
They can't be affected. The inorganic can't be affected. And it's funny because their goal, the Eternals' goal is to save and protect mankind. And when they all get snapped half to hell, they just sit there and they do nothing. That was my biggest problem with the movie, but that was not a movie problem because that was source material from outside the movie, right? What I liked about the film was the dynamic that each team member had with each other. Like I loved, I don't even remember her character's name, but Sussy. I loved Sussy's character in that film.
I will say I do like how they pulled from like historical elements or tried to weave it in to like human history. They did their damnedest.
I mean, obviously they
Athena.
did their research with the history, obviously.
Gilgamesh and Athena.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I loved Angelina Jolie's character. I really did. I
didn't.
thought it was.
What
Really?
character?
Oh well, it's not it's not a main character on it, but the little arc that she had where she suffers from that disease that I guess they get.
That's
Alzheimer's?
That's not an arc. She doesn't overcome that.
She doesn't. She
I
just,
mean,
I'm
kind of
affected,
though,
and
kind
then
of though. With Gilgamesh, it's the whole arc between her and Gilgamesh is, I think, it's cute. I think, in my opinion, because he's kind of the only one that comforts her or can comfort her, and that's what I'm saying. Like the dynamics between the Eternals, I think, was really cool. I hated Richard Madden's character. I hated Icarus because I was just basically watching
that's the
Superman
bad
that
guy.
I basically watched Superman turned evil. Like I don't know what else I was watching there besides that.
But like the worst iteration of Superman turned
The
evil.
worst iteration. I will say, I don't know what Chloe Zhao did. She was the director for this, but the animation for a speedrunner type of superhero is the best animation I've seen. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
think the Flash should have been that. Just saying.
The Flash should have been anything.
I mean,
Except
I'm
for
just
what it
saying
was.
that the Flash's animation
movie.
should have been that, whatever that character was called, should have been her animation of the running, because that's been the
Puck?
best.
Was it Puck? No.
I don't know. Wait, it's I can tell you right now. Oh no, I don't know. It doesn't say. Whatever, it doesn't say. But I think that is the best iteration of a superhero that has speed that I've ever seen. That I've seen, and it was great. And I don't know why. I don't know how she figured it out, how she did it, but clearly no one else chose to copy that, or
Never
they just
released the secret, Chloe.
never released the secret of. Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was really good. I thought it was a good introduction to the Celestials. They're going to be a major part of this story going forward now. They're going to be
already introduced.
the Celestial is already rumored to be the main villain, one of the Celestials. The main one that the mother, that Salma Hayek's character talks to. He's going to be the main villain in one of the new Fantastic Four movies.
Aramesh,
So yeah, whatever his name is. So we're gonna see these Celestials going forward, and we're gonna see and one of them, the one that has the tip, the finger that's sticking out of the earth.
Uh-huh.
That's gonna be a base of operations for a movie coming up, for one of the Marvel movies coming up. I'm not sure which one it is.
I heard fan theories
Yeah.
that that's where adamantium is going to spawn
Yes,
from the
thank
modern
you,
Marvel
thank you.
universe.
Yes, correct. That's where adamantium is going to be. Exactly. That's what I was hearing. Which I think is interesting. The Celestials make a huge part. By the way, they did release some of the Fantastic Four cast. So it will be Sue Storm officially being played by Vanessa Kirby, which is a good casting. Human Torch Johnny Storm is going to be played by Eddie from Stranger Things. The guy that plays the guitar, whatever his name is.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, him.
I can't
What's his
remember
name?
I can't remember his actual name.
Fuck.
I
But
see
if
Eddie, his face, and all I see is Eddie
Yeah.
Eddie Munson.
Yeah, so Eddie from Stranger Things. What happened yesterday, news yesterday, was that Adam Driver is back into talks.
To be Reed
After
Richards.
to be Reed Richards again, is back into it. Apparently, the MCU really believe that he's good for the role, and they really chased after him, and they persuaded him to come back and have a conversation again that he agreed to have. So he hasn't accepted anything, but he agreed to come back and see what else they have to say to him about this role in this franchise.
I am-
so
Come back and
clearly,
see.
they really want Adam Driver to be Reed.
I am sorry, but Adam Driver does not look like a Reed Richards to me. I don't think he's handsome enough. I'm gonna get flamed for this, but
What?
I don't think he's not handsome, but I don't think he's handsome enough to be Reed Richards.
You don't need to be handsome to be Reed Richards.
I don't guess you
Yeah,
don't
but-
need to, but he's always been
All right, all right.
Silver Fox stretchy
All right.
daddy. And
All right.
Adam Driver is not Silver Fox stretchy daddy.
No, you're right, but you know what he is? He's Reed Richards that turns into a supervillain. That's what he is.
No.
He's
That's what he is.
Fuck
no,
that.
no.
Fuck that
That's
noise.
what he is.
Fuck that. No thank
That's
you.
what he is, baby.
I
That was
refuse.
He is going up against the other person they have for the role right now. The two that are left for Reed Richards, it's him and it's Matt Smith
Matt
from House of the
Smith.
Dragon. From House of the Dragon.
Matt Smith.
No,
Okay, he
From
looks
Doctor Who?
he looks a little more like a Reed Richards, but bring back John Krasinski. I thought he was fine.
I was not a John Krasinski fan.
All of the
Uh,
Illuminati
also,
in that
no,
movie
he's
was
all
a
right.
joke.
I didn't see enough of him to get an opinion.
I
if
thought he
that makes
looked
any
the part
sense.
just fine.
He looked the part.
He's just not smart enough for me to play
Huh?
that role.
Okay, but you can't take John Krasinski seriously, so your opinion is rendered moot in this discussion.
Okay, so okay, let me say really quickly, just for every one of the viewers watching, I love John Krasinski. I just think he fits comedic roles a lot better than he does dramatic roles. Okay,
Have you watched A Quiet Place?
I have, but he's not the main focus of that film. He's not the main focus of that film.
The family is.
The film is about Emily Blunt. The film is Emily Blunt centered, 100% center stage Emily Blunt. He wrote that for her. He wrote that for her. That movie for her. And he was great in it. I'm not saying he was bad. He was great in it. But it's not enough for me to be like, oh, I'm going to consistently trust him as a dramatic actor. And not just a dramatic actor. He has to play a highly intelligent, the most intelligent scientist in the world, actually, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
So get a
in
good
Reed
writer.
Richards. That's a tall order. That's a
Get a
tall
good
order.
writer.
That's
Well,
a
you
tall
can't
order.
right now because they're on strike.
Ha ha!
Yeah.
Take that, you
So-
stupid studio.
Yeah.
I mean, please
I
pay
mean-
them.
Please pay them.
Studios, pay them, but also fuck off.
Yeah, 100%.
Pay them.
Pay
Pay
them,
your,
but also
just
fuck
pay
off.
your, not just pay your actors, pay everyone. Pay your fucking VFX artists. Pay
I just said
everyone.
pay them. I didn't say anything disrespect. I just said pay the people.
What I don't like about the Fantastic Four, the new one, is that they're deciding to go with Galactus as being the villain again. And we all know how that turned out in Rise of the Silver Surfer. I just hope that
If you make him a fucking death cloud, yeah.
I just hope we get a better iteration of Galactus this time, I guess. If you're gonna go down if that's gonna be the main villain again, please don't give me the Death
Isn't
Cloud
Galactus also a Celestial?
again. Yes, he is a Celestial.
So yeah,
Yep.
that ties in perfectly to the MCU.
Yo, it does. 100% ties in, but I'm just saying. I
It's
don't
gonna be
want-
Aramesh.
I mean-
At the last minute, there's gonna be the Silver Surfer. I am the Herald.
I mean-
I will turn off my television.
We've
immediately if
already
that happens.
seen the designs for the Celestials, and they look pretty comic accurate. So
Yeah, no,
it's
they look
not
great.
outside the realm of possibility for us to get purple shorts Galactus.
Oh my god.
But the and Galactus will be played by Antonio Banderas, by the way. Antonio Banderas is playing Galactus. That is official.
That's an
You can look it
interesting
up, too.
choice. That's an interesting
He
choice.
is. He has been. The only casting they haven't released is Reed Richards because they haven't casted him yet. They're still trying to figure that out. Thing is being played by this guy. I don't know what. Oh, Eben Moss Bachrach.
What's he been in?
Eben Moss. I've seen him in some stuff. I can't.
What's the most
I know his
recent
face. If you guys look him up, I can't I reckon he was in the Bear. The Bear. He was in the Bear.
one? Is he Richie?
Huh?
Is he Richie in the Bear?
I don't know.
Was he the cousin?
How do you spell his name?
It's Ebon, EBON space MOSS middle dash BACHRACH.
Or is he the pastry chef?
Oh,
Ebon Mars Bachrach. I don't know. I don't know who
it's this
really.
guy.
This lad. It's that lad. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is
He's
Richie!
He's going to be playing the Thing. So,
I don't really.
I don't know
his
what.
work.
To be honest with you, I'm not very excited about the casting. To be honest, I don't even like Vanessa Kirby that much. To be honest, as Sue Storm, but
can't
I
put
can.
a face to a name.
Huh?
I can't put a face to a name right now. Let me
Look. If you look her up, you'll recognize
Vanessa
it.
Kirby.
She was in the new Mission Impossible movie. She's also in Hobbs and Shaw.
Oh,
She's in Hobbs and Shaw. She's
Is she blonde?
She plays.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's blonde. She plays Shaw's daughter in Hobbs and Shaw.
yeah. I mean,
The blonde head-
I didn't watch Hobbs and
The
Shaw,
blonde
so-
the blonde head woman that The Rock hits on in the film. That's Vanessa Kirby. Like I said, I can see why they picked her. I just don't. I think a perfect Sue Storm really is like Emily Blunt. I would have casted maybe Emily Blunt as Sue Storm. I think that would have been a really good one. Reed Richards. I'm so partial to the old ones. I really would have just recasted the same guy because he was amazing. And he's a Welsh actor, by the way. But he was a perfect Reed. You can't tell me he wasn't a good Reed Richards because he was amazing.
He was.
He was old. He phased out.
Well, no, of course. He's not the same. He's also, I forget that he's also Lancelot, Bonnie. He's Lancelot.
Yeah, I know.
In Arthur, he
Of
plays
course.
Lancelot. Yeah, he plays Lancelot, which is crazy to me. But I don't know, Matt Smith. I could see Matt Smith doing it. I think Matt Smith makes sense too because he's a hot actor right now, and he's in a lot of things
As long as
right
it's
now.
not Timothy Chalamet, I'm gonna be fine.
There is no way they would ever cast Timothy Chalamet.
Hey,
as Reed Richards.
you don't know. He's a stretchy, lanky little boy, so
This is true.
they probably wouldn't even
Chocolates.
need to do VFX on him. He could probably just stretch
Right,
his
right.
arm out and do
Ready,
it.
ready.
Matt Smith.
Chocolates.
All right. Well, we're coming up on about 90 minutes here. So, closing thoughts. What are we thinking?
The
Doctor
beginning.
Strange is the bottom of the barrel of Phase 4.
Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. I could get
Yeah.
behind that. That was
Multiverse.
definitely worse than Moon Knight.
It's worse because it was hyped up to be this huge multiversal film where it was Sam Raimi came back and we were going to get like an insane, crazy film where we were going to see a lot of people come back into the fold, Fantastic Four and everything, and we got absolutely nothing. Not a single thing did we get in that film.
Bollocks.
And yeah, and all we got was I paid $20 to watch them run Wanda's character into the ground. And that's all I watched. All I watched. That's all I watched. I watched them drag her character into the ground. And I paid $20 to watch that. So that's kind of how I feel. I think bottom of the barrel, I was hugely disappointed because I was so hyped. I was like, frick, we're going to get No Way Home followed by Multiverse of Madness. This is going to be an amazing start to Phase 4. This is going to be insanity. We've never seen something like this. They gave us nothing. And honestly, a part of that fault is us for putting too much expectation after watching Endgame and Infinity War and the whole, like, the Infinity Saga. Like, our expectations were through the fucking roof. Because
What came for Into the Spider-Verse came before that, yeah? I'm not crazy?
yes, I think so. Yes. I think so.
We had already been treated to a better multiverse film.
Yeah, that's why our expectations were so high as well. We were like, wow, okay, they know how to do some multiverse stuff. And then this when you title your film Multiverse of Madness, and then the film has like almost zero multiverse in it, I just don't know how to help you then.
Yeah, we went to
you know?
3 distinct places. The OG universe.
Yeah,
We went to Earth,
whatever.
whatever the hell, with the Illuminati.
Quadverse of confusion.
And then we went to Sinister Strange's universe.
Do you know Haley Atwell has come out in a recent interview where she says that she hated that iteration of her character in that film.
Good.
That she hated playing that.
Glad
iteration.
glad she's standing up
Yeah.
for herself and not bending over and just shelling out the schlock they decided to shovel onto our plates.
And all those actors that were in that scene, including John Krasinski's Reed Richards, none of them were in that scene together. None of them filmed together. They all filmed that scene separately. So she said she never met John Krasinski. Never met him.
Wow.
Yeah, if that just goes to show you how disorganized and
I want to
awful-
see the thickness of her shoulder pads for that uniform. She bulked up in that in that Captain Britain uniform.
But well, I guess to conclude is I'm glad Phase 4 was over. It was hella messy. I hope that Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios kind of learned from that experience because up until then they had never had a failed phase, right? Every phase has been good up until 4, and I hope they learned something from it. Phase 5, there doesn't seem to be much improvement in Phase 5. from what I'm seeing, but I'm hoping that the movies that are coming out, I'm actually kind of excited for the Marvels. I think it can be a good movie if done right. I like Kamala Khan's character. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna let you.
Sorry,
speak your point right now.
I just
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
of something worse than
Yeah.
Multiverse of Madness,
Oh God.
and it was Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh
yes.
yeah.
That movie was a train wreck. That
That
movie
is
was
the-
a train
it
wreck.
was-
That is the
Bad.
most dog water film to come out of this phase of the MCU, and
But
that's
I-
my
Jade?
last thought. That's my closing thought for the evening.
But I also think that movie fell victim to the Taika Waititi trying to outdo himself from Ragnarok. I think that's where it went wrong for
He
it.
didn't
you know?
need to outdo himself. That's what he didn't
Yeah,
understand. He could have.
yeah.
Maybe he was
yeah.
trying to take down the studios from the inside.
I really don't blame any of the people that were in that film. Any of them, I don't even blame Taika Waititi. I just think that he put maybe too much expectation on himself for that film. And because I like Christian Bale, I thought was actually a good villain in that.
I'm also
Like, I
really
liked
annoyed that the Necro Sword wasn't a symbiote. That
Yeah,
would have been
same.
a perfect way to introduce the Clintar race. into-
Same. But yeah, any more closing thoughts, guys?
That's it.
Thor: Love and
I'm
Thunder's
glad Phase
bad.
4's
Good night,
over.
everyone.
Thor: Love and Thunder's bad. Good night. No, everyone, just make sure, guys, that you hit that like button when you see this page. Hit that like, comment,
Maybe give it a
the like.
comment.
Comment what you thought of our thoughts.
what you
Subs-
thought, and what you think of Phase 4.
Yeah, what do you think of Phase 4? Give us a ranking of your top 3 or top 5 of favorite properties out of Phase 4. Also, please subscribe and hit the bell. Follow Seabass at twitch.tv/Seabass_118. Follow Barney on
Soon to come.
soon to come social media platform that is yet to be made, and follow me, subscribe to me on youtube.com/the Omega Condor. I stream every Friday, and I used to put out Yu-Gi-Oh content, and I'm going to start putting out Yu-Gi-Oh content again if that's the thing you kind of like to do. So
But peace out, guys. We will see you guys next week. Bye.
bye.
Goodbye.